this is the second video on cancer genetics. Okay, so in this video we'll study various causes of cancers, different type of cancers, and what are the substances that are causing those cancers. So firstly, what is causing a cancer? A substance called as carcinogen. It goes and damages the DNA, right? And since it is damaging a DNA, it's also called as a mutagen because mutagens are the substances which damage the DNA. Now, carcinogen is any substance or event that damages the DNA. All carcinogens are mutagens. That is what we studied in the previous slide. Now, take a look at this word. Not all mutagens are carcinogens, right? What does that mean? See, mutations is caused by mutagens, and mutagens can cause different types of mutation in the different regions or different genes of the DNA. Okay, but those genes might not be associated with causing cancer because mutations should occur in specific genes such as tumor suppressor genes, proto-oncogenes, DNA repair genes, and the proteins which are involved in cell signaling. Only if the mutations are occurring in these genes, only in that conditions will a normal cell become a cancerous cell. If the mutation is occurring in some different genes that are not related to any of these genes, then it will not cause cancer. So that is what it means. All carcinogens are mutagens, but not all mutagens are carcinogens. Now moving on, what is the nature of carcinogen? Can anything be carcinogen? No, it has to have some ability, its ability to damage the DNA. So what is it made up of? It can be made up of any chemicals, it can be radiation, or it can be certain biological agents. For example, nicotine is a chemical. It has numerous of chemicals in it which is causing lung cancer. Now radiations like X-rays and UV rays also causes cancer. And biological agents such as virus and bacteria that damage the DNA can also cause cancer. Now we'll study the first type of cancer. What are the carcinogen associated with that cancer? That is the main focus. Okay, the first type of cancer is lung cancer. It is caused by, in most of the cases, by smoking, because tobacco smoke, it contains nearly 5300 chemicals, and in that there are certain chemicals which are highly carcinogenic like acrolein, formaldehyde, cadmium, acetaldehyde, ethylene oxide, and isoprene. Now what does this chemical do? How do they damage the DNA? They damage the DNA by forming DNA adducts. So what is DNA adducts? We'll study this DNA adducts by seeing a small animation. Now see, this DNA adduct is when a carcinogen covalently binds to the DNA. So this is the DNA and this is the carcinogen. It's going and covalently binding to the DNA. That is when DNA adducts are being formed. So the next cancer that we are going to see is breast cancer. Breast cancer is caused by elevated levels of estrogen. Estrogen levels rises beyond the normal threshold level. In that case, what happens? Excess of estrogen will be metabolized into something called as quinones. These quinones are the carcinogens which can form DNA adducts, and we know DNA adducts, just now we saw that there's nothing but a carcinogen covalently binding to a DNA. When that things happen, the normal functioning of that DNA is being hindered, and that is nothing but causing that cell to become cancerous cell. Now another thing that estrogen can do is, excess of estrogen can do is, estrogen is normally like it is associated with the growth of mammary glands in a female's body. So when high level of estrogen is seen in a person's body, it will cause the excess of the growth of the mammary glands. In that case, excess of cells are dividing more often. Okay, when cells are dividing more often, there is high chance that those cells can cause, like, they can be abnormal, right? If in normal case one cell is growing and producing few cells, it's okay, but it is increasing the number, the growth of the cells, that is, its multiplication is being increased. In that case, so is the chance of those cells becoming cancerous is also increasing. And estrogen can repress the detoxification system of our body, of a person's body. So what happens normally, these oxidative radicals, which are formed by various metabolic pathways, are being detoxified in a person's body. But sometimes what happens, when estrogen levels are high, this detoxification is being repressed. When that is being repressed, these free radicals can go and cause the damage to the DNA. When the DNA is damaged, it means that it can become cancerous, right? The cell can become cancerous. So why is the estrogen level increasing? Can be due to hereditary conditions, or can be due to dietary conditions, right? If a person is not consuming healthy diet, and he is consuming unhealthy diet on daily basis, okay, eating red meat is okay, but if he is eating on daily basis, if she is eating on daily basis, then it can also cause high levels of estrogen. So next type of cancer is colorectal cancer. So colorectal cancer is being caused by increased amount of bile juice or bile acids. These bile juice are normally produced by liver to digest the lipids. But what happens when this bile juice or bile acid is being increased to a certain concentration, that it is becoming highly carcinogenic? Why is that happening? Due to some reasons that we'll study later. But now, what happens when bile juice is increasing in concentration? It forms, like, it produces reactive oxygen species, that is superoxide radicals, that can cause the damage to the DNA. So what is the causes of colorectal cancer? The main cause is the diet. If he or she is not consuming proper diet, then that can cause colorectal cancer. Diet which has lots amount of saturated fatty acids can cause colorectal cancer. And the next type of cancer is liver cancer, and it is caused by alcohol, because alcohol causes liver inflammation, and it has been proved that whenever inflammation is associated, the cancer can come into picture. Because one study was carried out to see if inflammation is causing the cancer. It was studied that the persons who are consuming non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin have reduced risk of developing cancer. So it means that aspirin is actually preventing the inflammation, so thereby it is also preventing the cancer. And those people who consume this aspirin on daily basis for many years, they did not develop cancer. Okay, so the next type of cancer is skin cancer. Now skin cancer is being caused by UV rays mainly. When UV rays is being hit to the DNA forms thymine dimers. Okay, these two thymine adjacent molecule will become covalently attached to each other. When such thing happens, the rate of error in that DNA increases, so when the rate of error increases in the DNA replication, the resultant DNA will be a damaged DNA, right? So that is how UVB radiations or UVA radiations are causing skin cancer. So now we are going to discuss something about aflatoxin. This aflatoxin is a potent carcinogen. So why do we need to study this? Why is this important? This is the structure of aflatoxin. It is being produced by this fungus of Aspergillus species, and these fungus are known to grow on edible food items such as this maize, sorghum, peanuts. If proper storage is not done while storing these food items, then there is a high chance that this Aspergillus species can grow on these, and when they grow on these, they release aflatoxin, and if that is being consumed by a person, then he he will get exposure to this carcinogen and increased risk of developing cancer. So it can be prevented by following proper preventive measures during storage of these food items. Temperature should be maintained and moisture should be maintained. Low amount of moisture should be there. In that case, this Aspergillus niger will no longer infect these food items and it will be safe for consumption. Okay, sorry. And next we are going to study about biological carcinogens. Now we know that virus can infect the mammalian cell and cause damage to the DNA. Now if it is left untreated, precancerous conditions are being developed. When precancerous conditions are being formed in a person's body, if it is left untreated, it can cause cancer. Now, so there are various viruses associated with various cancer. When a particular virus is there, if a particular virus is infecting a person, then he becomes a high risk patient of developing that cancer, because if left untreated, if that virus is left untreated, then it can cause precancerous conditions, right, and which may ultimately lead to the causing of cancer. So human papilloma virus can cause cervical cancer if left untreated. Okay, now there has been recent development. A vaccine has been developed against this human papilloma virus to prevent cervical cancer. Hepatitis B causes liver cancer if left untreated. Okay, if it is treated, then no, it will not cause precancerous conditions. And Epstein-Barr virus is known for causing Burkitt's lymphoma, and herpes virus is known to be associated with Kaposi's sarcoma. And the next is gastric lymphoma. It is being caused by a certain bacteria. This is the first bacteria that we are studying, Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori. It causes ulcers, stomach ulcers, right? It causes stomach ulcers, which can ultimately cause inflammation in the stomach, right? And we know that inflammation is associated with cancer. If this is left untreated, then these ulcers may develop into precancerous conditions, which may ultimately cause cancer. So this was it about different carcinogens. In the next video, we'll study something else about cancer. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching.